Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2024. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the local market started poorly today, dropping sharply, but by the end of the day, hadn't moved much at all. The S&P ASX 200 closed down just a touch, 0.1%, to 8,256 points. It was a tough day for the gold miners as the price of the precious metal comes off recent highs. Iron ore prices are also slipping. They're back around the $100 a tonne mark. That's put pressure on the big miners. The tech stocks did best today. In corporate news, mounting losses in NIB's New Zealand business means that earnings will be down as much as 10% this year. Now, it's been an interesting company, this one, the health insurer. A poor performance last year wiped 20% of its share price in August, although today it ended up flat. Story number 2, uranium miner Paladin Energy has cut its forecast for production, saying its previous estimates were a bit ambitious. That was enough to send its share price down 29% today, easily the worst of the top 200. Paladin cut guidance from 4 to 4.5 million pounds of uranium to 3 to 3.6 million pounds of uranium. Now, it's all due to problems at its flagship Langer Heinrich mine in Namibia. It owns a 75% stake. Paladin's been an interesting company. It's trying to buy Toronto-listed fission uranium. That's been knocked off course by the Canadian government. It's worried about Chinese involvement in the deal. Now, the Chinese group that's involved with Paladin is a group called China National Nuclear Corp. It owns the other 25% of Langer Heinrich and it also lends money to Paladin. That's what the Canadian government's worried about. Story number 3, gaming manufacturer Aristocrat Leisure has sold its mobile gaming business, Plarium Global, for about $1.2 billion. Aristocrat wants to focus on poker machines and casino-style online games. It sold something called Raid Shadow Legends to a Swedish group. It also wrote down the value of its other free-to-play mobile games business. It's no longer a focus of the group, the company said. Its DNA, Aristocrat Leisure's DNA, is very much in regulated gaming machines. It bought into social gaming back in 2017, spent about $1.5 billion US. Back then, it was worried that games like Queen of the Nile and Five Dragons were slowing. For those who don't know, Queen of the Nile seems to be the pokey machine game around the place. Anyway, that's gone from strength to strength. So Aristocrat Leisure wants to get out of the free-to-play mobile games business. Its financial results are out today. Its share price has been a cracker this year, up about 57%. Story number 4, one of Australia's largest law firms, Herbert Smith Freehills, is merging with a New York firm, becoming the first local partnership to have significant operations in the US. Kramer, Levin, Naftalis and Frankel is the company they're merging with. Assuming that 3/4 of the partners approve the deal, we're going to have a new firm called Herbert Smith Freehills Kramer. It'll add 120 partners to the group. It started in Melbourne in 1853, the company. It became Herbert Smith Freehills in 2012 after merging with UK's Herbert Smith. It's got about 500 partners around the world, of which 168 are in Australia. The shift to working with US firms has been going on for a while. Allen and Overy agreed to merge with a smaller American company, Shearman and Sterling, back in May. Ashurst, according to Fin Review, is looking for opportunities as well. And story number 5, President-elect Donald Trump has picked 2 men with track records of harshly criticising China for key positions in his new administration. It's a sign that relations between the world's biggest superpowers may fray even further in the coming years, according to Bloomberg. Senator Marco Rubio, who has taken an aggressive stance on China's emergence as an economic power and twice been hit with sanctions by Beijing, is expected to be named Secretary of State. Representative Mike Waltz, who views China as a greater threat to the US than any other nation, is in line to be National Security Advisor. The pick of Waltz would elevate a former Army Green Beret and combat veteran of Afghanistan to a role coordinating foreign policy in the West Wing and briefing the President on global crises. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2024. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Join Adam Lang and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. The top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.